Oh my God, did you hear what that lady called her daughter's name? Afrobel. Wow, I really love that name.
Yeah, African beauty.
Or Black Beauty, you may say.
Yeah.
I'm going to name my fourth child Afrobel.
Fourth child?
Who is having 4 kids?
Where is this coming from? I thought we agreed on 4 kids.
And I told you I wanted 2.
2 children, for what?
It's 2 and no more.
I can't just have 2 kids, though.
And I certainly will settle for 4.
Hello and welcome to the program Hot Button. Finding a compatible partner is like finding a treasure. It makes a relationship easy and long-lasting. However, treasures, they say, are hard to come by. Compatibility is a function of patience and tolerance. This is because we are all different in our various ways as individuals, and we have various orientations according to the backgrounds from where we came from. My name is Johnny, and with me on the program I have
TOYIN
and
Jonathan.
welcome to the program, guys.
Thank you, Johnny.
you.
Now, incompatibility, as I stated earlier, is one particular thing that is known to be a serious problem in dating among us as young people. And it becomes very, very pertinent that we talk about this particular issue so we can help one another in overcoming situations like that. So, having said that, what is incompatibility to you?
Thank you, Johnny, for that question. And as a young person, I began to reminisce through my mind what exactly will be the best thing for me to communicate. So that's one thing that, you know, in a relationship, I find irreconcilable, or that one thing that I cannot negotiate. For me, that's incompatibility.
A particular non-negotiable
That
thing that you
thing,
find
yes, that
in
I-
a relationship.
yes, in a
Wow,
relationship.
okay, let me hear from you, Tony.
Well, for me, I think that it will be 2 people in a relationship not having a common ground. And to me, I think some things are negotiable.
Wow, you think some of them are negotiable?
Yes.
Wow.
But you see, this point is incompatibility is obvious. Like, so because of that, there is no ground to spend more time or anything.
okay.
So it's just like, you know what, we're not compatible. Thank you.
It's
have
a done
nice,
deal.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, and that's when negotiating comes in. There are no 2 people that are the same.
Yeah, but assuming we are incompatible to Biro, what are we to negotiate on the fact that we're not compatible about?
We can negotiate, and one of us can use the barrier, can use a pencil.
But the point is that we're not negotiating whether we should use Biro or not.
So what are we negotiating?
No, it's not negotiable because it's a Biro. And that's not what we want.
Okay, from what I'm gathering here
Yes.
is we have a disagreement about a particular thing.
Okay.
So it is left for someone to say, okay, you don't like it,
Yes.
I will have to not like it as well.
Okay.
Or you like it, I don't like it naturally, but because you like it and I want you, I have to like it.
Yeah, because
Is that what you call the negotiable part
No,
of it?
but in the big deal, right? If you look at the relationship in its own sense, it's all about compromise.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
But yes, while we are compromising and having a good day and moving in the relationship, but we have gotten to this crossroad that, like, see, at this point, too.
Yeah,
We are
simply
not-
because
we're not it.
one of you is not
Okay.
willing to come down for the other.
No, but you know that there are some fundamental life issues that there is no way around it.
Well,
And I think that could be subject to time and then attitude. And let me explain that.
Okay.
Because you could be in a relationship for like 2, 3, 4 years, and then there is this particular thing you do not like. And then it is something that your partner can work on, and then your partner is not working on it. And then it becomes like a particular attitude of the partner. The partner is not changing that attitude, and this attitude you do not like.
Sure.
And because you have spent such a long time, there is no visible change. And then you're saying, hey, I can't go any further. So why should that be negotiated?
Well, I think that there are some things in relationship that once you see,
Yes.
there are some that you actually don't have to. There's no bargain. You cut it off.
From the
And there are
beginning?
from the
Yeah,
beginning.
from the beginning.
There are just
Okay.
some. For example, I have someone telling me, I don't mind if my daughter of 16 years old gets pregnant, brings the pregnancy home. For me, I can't deal with that. So from that statement,
You mean that
the
cannot be
feelings
negotiated?
that-
You can't
I
negotiate
I
that?
can't negotiate it. Why?
Okay, what of
I
at
have
18?
my
What of
culture-
if she's 18?
I can't negotiate.
Why,
it.
Titi? She's an
Why should-
adult.
I know she's an adult, but
Okay,
why would
fine.
I encourage my daughter at 18 to bring a pregnancy? Of course, if she brings it, I
Okay.
would not. I
But-
would accept it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't push her away, but I would not lecture my child. I would not give her
Yeah,
that
but just
mindset
get me right. I
that
just said that. Not that I
if by
actually
18
meant. It's
by
not that I
16
meant
No,
the
it's
fact that.
actually an illustration
Yeah, I know,
from
but
her.
I'm just saying that. Don't take it like I mean that. At
It's okay
18,
for
she
her.
should
I
go and
get.
bring it. It's okay. No, I'm
I
just
get,
saying
but
that.
I'm just saying. But this is someone who, in his mind, once he start having children, he's going to tell them, if at 16 you get pregnant, no problem, bring it home. But I would not give birth to a child and my training will be at 16, 18. If you get pregnant, bring it. No.
Okay,
But of
so-
course, if that happens, I would not neglect my child.
Okay,
So
but
let me get your point right. You're saying if you happen to be in a relationship with someone, and then the guy says,
Happen.
if we get
It's not
married,
even happening. I'm telling you what happened to me.
Like,
that
okay.
feelings dies there. I can't deal.
yeah. So let me reiterate the illustration you're trying to give now. What you're saying is, let's say I want to have a relationship with a guy, and then the guy says, I'm okay if my daughter at 16 has a boyfriend, she gets pregnant and all that. And then you as a mother to be says, hey, I wouldn't be okay with that kind of a thing. So when you meet somebody like that who is a diehard believer of such, a narrative, you just know that, hey, I can't be in a
Yes,
relationship. So
of
you
course.
spot it from the beginning, so it's not something you negotiate
Wait,
later
that was
on.
where I was,
I believe.
that was where I was coming
Exactly.
from. Of course, it stays in my subconscious. And then in the course of trying to know each other, and I keep bringing this thing up and I keep seeing the same. Even when I've tried to talk you over to say, okay, you see this kind of thing, given your culture, your belief, but you are still standing on that ground, of course. I wouldn't say, okay, it's over like that, okay, but then in my mind, I know that, okay, this is going nowhere. We can remain friends.
whoa.
Wow. So that is that point where you just have to
Yes, where
draw
you
the
have
line.
to, yes.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yes.
What causes incompatibility in a relationship?
Oh wow, that's difficult to answer. There are situations that the individual is actually not the one causing it. So it's a two-faced
Okay.
question. So there are some incompatibilities that are as a result of what I would call nature.
Okay.
There are some that they are acquired incompatibility, meaning that there are things that you can actually work on, provided you both are interested in working it out.
Okay.
So I think, in my opinion, one of the big issues that brings about that is worldview, what you feed your mind with, and then of course it forms an opinion and becomes an attitude to you. So that, for me, that is one cause of incompatibility.
What you feed your mind with, what you
feed your mind.
expose yourself to.
That's right.
And then it becomes a belief system in your senses, and
Yeah.
then you become that thing
Sure.
by way of attitude.
Sure.
Wow, let me hear from you.
Yeah, I think our culture too has a way of making us reason. For example, a Yoruba person will tell you, I can't marry Igbo, I can't marry Yoruba. That's a way of culture coming into play. And like you said, there are some that are biological. For instance, AS, obviously,
Definitely.
you're going nowhere, or ASSS. So I think culture and
Yeah. So, but
biological.
maybe, yeah. Even though, looking at that second to the last, point that she made, AS. Of course, they say science has improved, and there are always alternatives that people can explore. But I strongly agree with her with the point of culture. Culture has a very, very strong grip on every individual, and it's actually a good
It brings about incompatibility.
It does a lot.
Wow. So, when you are in a relationship, what are these things that begin to point in the direction to tell you that, hey, this relationship that I'm in or this partner that I am in a relationship with, we are not compatible. There are certain things you begin to see that begins to tell you that I am not compatible with this particular person. Let me take that from Tony. What will that be?
What I would see in a relationship that we tell me no, it's a no, number one, if we disagree at every little thing. Like we disagree at every little thing, we can't find a common ground. And another thing that could cause incompatibility is if we have different sex drive.
Different sex drive.
Yes, it could.
Okay, number one, you're talking about constant disagreements, and then sex drive. You're somebody who is not interested in having sex in a relationship. You want to abstain, and then your partner is insisting, I must do it.
Yeah, not even that. I mean, sex drive in the sense that, well, I think and I feel that people in a relationship should actually talk about their sex drive even before marriage. What would I want sexually in marriage?
It doesn't mean you have to engage in it.
No, it doesn't mean I have to engage in it. If, nowadays, we young people, we feed our minds with different things, pictures and all of that. I can't be in a relationship and you're telling me, okay, sexually you have to tie my hands to the bed, tie my legs before you have sex with me. Of course, no, I can't do. That means we're having different sex because I can't do such. And there are some other acts that you probably will see that this guy, this is what he wants, but I'm not.
And so it is important as young people that we discuss things like this, so that it doesn't become a surprise when you have, getting yourself involved so deeply with this particular individual, maybe tilting towards marriage, and then one day you just wake up to this kind of experience. Sure. Okay, let's hear from you.
I was really captivated by the words and the choice that Toyin has shared, and for me, or what I will add to that is I will also call it sexual orientation. And that's actually very huge. My generation that we all belong to, there are so many options that are available, and another thing that is a no-no is the fact that there are I have principles. Okay, it doesn't mean that my principle will be the principle that will take the day.
Okay,
but my principles should be like a checklist vis-a-vis what your own principles are.
Okay,
so it's like more or less like a comparative process, not a competitive process.
Okay,
okay. So I don't agree with this. Do you agree with this? No, I don't. What is your reason? We rub minds together, and then we see, oh, so this is a common ground. This is where we stand.
Okay.
But but differing in virtually every principle that I hold on to or that you hold on to, it's a capital no. Capital no. And in some instances, there are some of them that there are some relationship that it's best that you literally walk away in all aspects, not even being friends. You have more peace of mind.
More peace of mind.
Yeah.
But does something like maybe a partner who's refusing to apologize when the person wrongs you, does it?
Yeah. So
does it signal a kind of
it does signals a lot. It does signals a lot. And just like Toyin did mention earlier, the fact that I notice it once, twice, okay, and a third time, and I bring it to your notice, and you are acting like it's an entitlement, so I've had this girlfriend before, and this point that you just raised was the end of the road.
Wow.
Was the end of the road. And we're fine. Nobody is...
She wouldn't apologize, or you wouldn't apologize?
She wouldn't. She never sees anything that is wrong in what she does. She feels entitled. And that's it. And that was more or less like it. And I'm like, you know what? I think I have done enough labor.
Wow.
So let's have a nice day.
So if you get to a point like that where your partner does not apologize all the time or feels he's always right and you are always wrong, is that a sign?
Yes, you have to. For me, I will quit because that alone can affect me mentally. Whereby you keep bringing it to me that I'm the one who is always wrong. No.
And then no form of apologies.
No form of no. At least when you do wrong, you should be able to be man enough or woman enough to acknowledge that you are wrong and apologize. I mean, it's that simple. Why
And by
should
the way,
you not
just
apologize?
to add to that, it doesn't mean that you are actually in a relationship with a dundee. Do you get the point? So
Yeah.
you are coming from a fundamentally different perspective of
Definitely,
life. I'm coming
yeah.
from somewhere. It doesn't mean that I'll always be wrong. No, come on. Yourself, which one? I mean, so there are actually times that, yes, you expect a little friction, but we should be able to come like, okay, you know what, at this point, okay, fine. But if you, in fact, I think it should even be a problem for you who is always right. It should be a problem. Like, you should be able to sit down and think and ask yourself, why am I the one who is always right?
Wow.
Yeah, and also there are instances whereby you might even be the one right, and my partner feels that I am wrong. That's where humility comes in, where
Sure.
you need to apologize.
Swallow your pride.
Swallow your pride. Not necessarily because I'm wrong, but deep down I know I'm right. But obviously because you know you guys are in a relationship and you need to keep going to just
So this
apologize.
point that we are actually sharing, and I want to look at it from the point TOYIN made at the beginning, you know, that there are some of these incompatibility factors that are negotiable. And I think all of what we have shared now are those negotiable incompatibility.
Form of incompatibility. That's great. Well, you've been listening to Hot Button today, and we are talking about incompatibility in relationship. Number one, we've spotted disagreement, constant disagreement, as one of the pointers that shows that a relationship is what? Incompatible. And then we have seen things like a partner being unapologetic and a partner constantly feeling right or feeling entitled. Also a pointer that a relationship is incompatible.
That's right.
Now, let's look at something like this. If I ignore our incompatibilities and I get into this relationship, what are the consequences of looking at the fact that I and this person are incompatible, and then I still want to go ahead?
Yeah, it's just going to look like, let me use this illustration. Putting baking soda into a ketchup bottle and shaking it up. Once you open the ketchup bottle, of course, it's going to give like burst into your face and something. Obviously, it's going to be like bottled up emotions, and there will just be a day where you get here and be like, okay, you know, I can't take it again. And obviously, the outburst is not going to be fun.
So it's not going to be a funny situation
No, it's not
in
going to be
future.
funny, no.
Let me hear from you.
While that illustration looks, it feels harsh, but it's not. That's not the truth. Okay, I think you may just end up suffering and may run into irreversible health challenge, mental health problems,
Like depression and all?
depression, irreversible, because this thing is already evidently clear, but you are pushing that it must be. Why? But then I think on the other side, even the other partner who is aware that this thing is not working or this thing is not right, I actually feel that that partner also is not being fair. Because if I am in the situation where maybe let's assume that I find it difficult to be able to say, you know what, let's quit because of obvious reasons that we both know we are not compatible.
Yeah.
Then the other person should be able to be strong enough to say, you know what,
You're right.
you're right. But
That
the point
is the
is
same person who always
and
feels
I think,
he's right.
And I think as young people, we must learn to get to that point where we should love our partners enough to let them go.
That's a very big
And that's
point.
why it's important to spot these things early and quit, because it becomes worse when you guys get married and children are involved.
Because
For me,
a broken relationship is
Yes.
better than a broken marriage.
home, yeah.
Yeah.
So it gets worse when children are involved, because now you're not thinking of just what happens to the two of you. I mean, the children, mentally, behaviorally, even academic wise, all of that brings about a negative impact on the children.
So when you endure a relationship where you are not compatible with your partner, it could, have a ripple effect on the children.
Yes.
Because obviously you will have a home that is not a happy one, because there are certain things you're dealing with that you do not like in the house. and then it will rub off on the children.
Yeah.
The unhappiness that they see in the house will
house.
also result in them not being happy themselves. Now let's go over.
Sorry,
to,
it's
okay.
just like a kid who loves ice cream, and you take him to an ice cream point, and the reason why he loves the ice cream, or the reason why you're buying the ice cream, is because you want the child to enjoy himself, to enjoy the ice cream.
Exactly.
The moment you begin to endure taking ice cream, then there's a problem.
There's a problem.
So if that relationship, you are actually not enjoying it, you should be
That's
good enough
like
to-
having a sensitive kind of feeling in your teeth.
Sure.
And then you're taking cold ice cream on it.
That's
There is
right.
that feeling
Yeah.
that you
So-
do not.
When you know you are going to suffer the
So
consequences
when you
later.
bottle it up, it's like packing dog shit and putting icing sugar on it.
That's serious.
That's it. Because
That takes me to the most.
the moment you finish the ice cream,
You're left with crap.
there we go.
That takes me to the next question. Now, when you see all these things happening, how do you bring these incompatibilities to your partner's notice?
Well, that's where dialogue comes in.
Dialogue.
Yes, at least you should be able to know when exactly to table matters. Of course, take for example, you can't have a partner where the football team just lost the game, and I'm coming to come and talk about it.
Relationship.
Of course, it won't it won't work at that point. So you definitely have to find the right time,
An
where
appropriate time
an appropriate time
to
where
do the
dialogue
talking.
has to come in.
Okay, let me hear from you.
Communication is very key.
Very key.
In the whole life span of a relationship. And one of it is even at that point where incompatibility is the face. You see, so this negotiable incompatibility that we have focused on it becomes negotiable because communication is involved. So identifying that suitable moment, just like Toyin has rightly said, is very key. It's very key. And if your partner is reasonably enough, and I believe will be reasonable enough, because it's because of the reasonability that is why you got to the point where you are. And then you should be able to sort your way and find a way forward.
You should be able to sort it out. But now, let me bring something up. Does it involve seeking counseling from maybe a pastor, from a professional, to help, the partners concerned understand these incompatibilities?
I think the first pastor, the first counselor is the two persons involved.
Oh, great.
True.
The moment it gets to the third party, then it may get to a point of beyond redemption. Because now, two of us are looking at this biro as black and gray, as the case may be. And now you're bringing a third party. The third party may be seeing a mixture of black and gray.
Or black and white.
Or black and white.
Okay. So the person doesn't really feel the pain that
No, he
you're
doesn't.
feeling in the
It's
relationship.
the two of you in
It
the
doesn't.
relationship.
Okay.
So that's why I said, for me, and that has been my personal experience all through my my relationships, right? We both have to be the pastor and the counselor.
Okay.
Okay. Until we get to that point where we are not sure of what exactly it is out of the two choices that we have, then it's not like, okay, you know what? There should be that significant other person that we can listen to. Sir, ma, we have option A, B. After we have done all our analysis, based on your experience, what do you think are the consequences of A or consequences of B? We get back to the drawing board and then we pick what is best.
Wow. So it's not completely ruled out that you can't seek help.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's
Do
not.
you have more things to say on that?
I support-
That's great. Which means I picked something from what you said. The first counselor to your relationship, or the first pastor to your relationship, is
Yes, sir.
both of you in the relationship, because you know where the shoe pinches even more.
Yeah.
You know where it pierces more, so you can know where to handle it from.
You see, one interesting thing is that when you even go to the third party for help, for every incompatible problem you will have, at the end of the day, after you finish talking, the end point is always one person will say sorry, or one person will say, okay, when this is something that you both actually would have
Settled at home.
settled at home, and you said the sorry and nobody knows that who said sorry. But now somebody knows who said sorry, and then she was the one that said sorry,
All right, very quickly now, how can incompatibilities be managed by both partners?
Well, like we have been discussing earlier, dialogue, communication. Yeah, dialogue, communication. I think it can also be resolved by understanding each other. No, I know what you like. I know what you know what I don't
Understanding each
like,
other's
and you know,
weaknesses and strengths.
yes, and you know the
Okay.
limits. You know where to go, where not to go, and I think that should help.
Okay.
So I would take it this way. Number one is prayer. Okay. Number two is for you to even know your level. Okay. There is no wisdom in me going after, let's say, either Bill Gates or a Dangote's daughter. You understand? We would definitely have serious issues of incompatibility.
Okay.
You know, like spending power. For instance, for me, I'm just giving an instance,
Yeah,
right?
I'm with
No
you.
matter how much, as a person, I will talk of how much I love to spend. Even if you give me today, you give me certain amount of money, let's say 10 million US dollars. There is no way I will walk into a shop and spend $9 million in,
Just a flash.
you get it?
You're probably
But
judging before even knowing the person.
no, I'm headed somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. On the other flip side of the coin, this individual has such, it is
Tendencies.
believed that that individual, because of the name that we are aware of, spending that kind of money will not be a problem. It doesn't mean that that is who that person is. But my point is that even before I will start a relationship with this kind of a person, these are fundamental things I should reconcile myself with before
Getting involved.
getting involved.
Good.
Yeah.
Amos chapter 3 verse 3 says, can two work together unless they agree? There must be that form of agreement. You must know who is asking to be in a relationship with you. You must understand the weaknesses of the person. You must understand the strength of the person before you get so deep in that relationship. We are all from different backgrounds, different families, different orientations that we all carry, more like we have our baggages from wherever we're coming from. And then we do not expect someone who lived in the East to behave like someone from the West. But the moment we have a common ground to understand this person's weakness, to deal with it, to accept it, and accept the person as the person is, we are overcoming incompatibilities. We are dealing with incompatibilities from the beginning. But if you see something that is non-negotiable for you, do not venture into that particular relationship. So, when you get into your relationship and you're finding these incompatibilities with your partner, maybe in certain ways, you should arrest it on time and make appropriate move to bring that relationship either to an end or you put yourself together to accept it. It is on this note that we leave you today on Hot Button, believing that you'll be there to join us same time next week when we'll come your way again. Bye for now.